All right, NFL Week 16 NFL questions. This season is flying by. If you want your questions to be a part of the podcast, at BKA Beloved on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Every Monday morning, there'll be a nice little picture saying, submit your question here, ask me anything. You submit your question, you can hear your question asked on the podcast, just like this. Ain't no way you still doing questions on Christmas. You goddamn right I'm still doing questions on Christmas. Obviously, the past Monday to this podcast was Christmas, and I'm assuming the person watching this was just in utter disbelief as to someone who wants to work in sports is doing sports stuff on the holiday. Even though if you would have turned on ESPN on that very same holiday, who would you have saw? All the people in sports to which I aspire to be. What was there? 5 NBA games, 3 NFL games. Is it just the players out there? Are they talking to themselves? Are there no announcers, no analysts, no nothing? First Take was still on TV. NBA Countdown was still on TV. Every single position sports-wise that I would see myself being in the future, they're all working. Why shouldn't I? In case y'all haven't noticed, I take this thing very, 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 very seriously. Don't matter if it's my birthday, your birthday, or apparently Jesus' birthday. I will be here doing what I do. Thanks for the question. I need to know what happened to Jacksonville. They let everybody in the South catch up. Guys, if y'all learn nothing from me, I need you to learn this. Offensive lines are important. Offensive lines are important. Offensive lines are important. They have been weak in the offensive line since the offseason. They've had injury after injury throughout this season. And now Trevor Lawrence is what? 4 injuries in at this point? Had the knee injury earlier in the season. We saw his ankle get rolled up on against the Bengals. Got a concussion. It was in concussion protocol over the week. Got knocked out of this game because of the shoulder. This is supposed to be your $250 million quarterback this upcoming offseason. And that's how you're protecting him? No wonder y'all dropped 4 straight. However, it's not just the offensive line, though. Although, again, offensive lines are important. I need y'all to hear me and hear me good. Offensive lines are important. The pass defense has finally caught up to them. They've been near the bottom of the league pretty much all season long. They're 29th right now. That's not an accident. Tyson Campbell's been in and out of the lineup, but ask Mike Evans. I don't think he's that much of a difference maker. So you can't stop the other team from passing the ball, and you can't protect the person who's supposed to be passing the ball for you. That is not a recipe for success. Of course they're floundering the way they are right now. This shouldn't be surprising to anybody. Lastly, before I move off the Jaguars, we are slowly approaching it is time to have a conversation time with Trevor Lawrence. I see some of you are jumping the gun already. You're putting his numbers next to Daniel Jones and already calling him a bust. He was drafted in 2021. Granted, all the other quarterbacks in this draft, you guys are calling bust already. I still have hope for Trey Lance and Justin Fields because, president of Black Quarterback Fan Club. But still, y'all know. I say we let this season play out and we'll reassess next year. Unless they give him the giant contract this offseason, then all bets are off and we got to judge him like the highest paid quarterback in the league, which he would be if he gets the contract this year. Thanks for the question. Should the Cowboys switch Micah to middle linebacker to stop the run? All right, so here's why that doesn't make as much sense to me. We have this guy in Micah Parsons that does this thing better than pretty much everyone in the league, which is rush the passer. I know sack numbers, pressure numbers, blah, blah, blah. Watch the film. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league. And we're going to have him do that less because other people on my defense can't handle the job that they're supposed to be doing. Other people that I knew would struggle handling the job before we even came into the season. Inside linebacker issues are not new for the Cowboys. Ask any Cowboys fan, they will tell you that was an issue before the season started. I get it. You're getting gashed in a run game and you got to do something about it. But taking your best player and making him do what he's not best at, granted, Mike is still a good inside linebacker. He could good at anything. Hell, put him at corner. He'll probably be good at that too. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And if they do have to permanently switch from the middle linebacker, only make him a third down pass rusher, that is a sign of desperation that I'm not sure they want to show yet. However, if the Lions walk into Jerry World and run the ball up and down the field on them, then at that point, they have no choice. Thanks for the question. What's going on with Dallas? Dak plays good sometimes and plays like Zach Wilson other times. Now, earlier, I was talking about how playing for the Cowboys makes people think that you're worse than you actually are. In no universe should Dak Prescott and Zach Wilson be used in the same sentence. Unless you're a rapper and you're trying to throw some bars together. Other than that, On the list of issues with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott doesn't crack the top 3. But I shall humor you. Let's go through Dak's performance against the Dolphins, and we'll see, was he the problem? We had 20 for 32, 253 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, an opening drive fumble. Not awful. An almost 8-minute drive to close the game, give his team the lead, and give one of the best defenses in the league, allegedly, the ball back with 3 minutes left in the game to get the other team off the field in they have to pass position. And we have one of the best pass rushers in the league. What more do you want from Dak Prescott? Honestly, what more do you want from him? Is it MVP throwing for 500 yards Dak that we were seeing earlier in the season? No. Is it the Buffalo game Dak we were seeing? No. The most concerning things for the Cowboys are 3 things. First, the home road splits are way more real than the we can't beat a good team thing. It just so happens that most of the good teams they've been playing have been on the road, most notably the 49ers. At home, they are undefeated and dominate teams. On the road, they are 3-5. All 5 of those losses came to teams that are going to be in the playoffs. And the Cardinals. Playing on the road, it's all good when you're walking into MetLife to play Daniel Jones and the Giants. The Panthers? Oh, great. They're selling tickets for what, 45 cents now? Los Angeles Chargers? They're on what, head coach number 2? They got that. In the playoffs? That's not going to cut it. Speaking of playoffs, the run concerns on both sides of the ball are a very real thing. We spoke about Ezekiel Elliott earlier. You guys think they miss Zeke now? After watching Bernard Pollard give up on an easy walk-in touchdown because he tried to prove a point by running through a safety on the Dolphins on a drive they ended up not scoring on, so he literally cost his team 7 points trying to be a hero. You know who wouldn't have done that? Ezekiel Elliott. I just watched him hurdle a guy for a touchdown just this past Sunday for my Patriots in a game I didn't want them to win, but sure. The Cowboys saw that and said, damn, maybe we should have kept paying him all that money, because I would have. And on the other side of the ball, I thought it was just purely going to be all right, maybe they're a little too light in the cheeks. Maybe the Bills were able to come punch them in the mouth real quick and run the ball up and down the field on them because they're more built to rush the passer than they are to stop the run. Turns out I might be right. Miami only got 91 rushing yards on them because they're not a power running team. They're a side running team. Problem is, the teams they'll be seeing in the playoffs, most notably the Eagles and the Niners, are both power running teams. The Eagles, when they decide to run the football, more on that later, are a power running team. The 49ers can do both, but more notably, power running team. They want to use that inside zone to road grade you. And then concern number 3 for the Cowboys is Mike McCarthy, who just continues to make head scratching decisions on the head coaching side. As a play caller, he's been excellent this year, honestly. I know we're hesitant to give Mike McCarthy credit because people just think he's a dunce, but no. As a play caller, he's been great. As far as running a modern offense, he's been great. But just the actual act of head coaching, when to go for it on 4th down, when to kick the field goal, time management, that part he has not been good at. I heard someone say that they would take the Buccaneers against them in that first round game if the Bucs end up winning the NFC South, which by all intents and purposes, it looks like they're going to, right? But there's a Bucs question after this, so we'll tie it in after that. Nice little segue. Here's the problem with that. The Buccaneers are very dependent on their passing game and Baker Mayfield making it work. Shout out to Baker. We'll get to him in a second. We just talked about how the Cowboys' weakness is stopping the run. The Buccaneers have the 30th ranked rushing offense. If you're going to say, I'm going to go against Dallas and we're going to throw the ball all day against them, good luck. That's not how you get that done. So that's just a bad matchup for the Buccaneers in general. So Dallas probably gets away with that one. But if you're walking into, I always want to call 49er Stadium Candlestick. They're not even in San Francisco anymore. They're in Santa Clara. If you're going to walk into Levi Stadium and say, we're the Cowboys, we can't run the football nor stop the run. We got Dak though. They're going to get ran out the building again. You're going to walk into Lincoln Financial, same thing. You're going to get ran out the building. I don't know. The Cowboys have a lot to figure out, but Dak Prescott isn't one of them. Dak is who we thought he was, who's playing better this year, but he's had a couple games in between. Thanks for the question. The Bucs, specifically Baker Mayfield, have been cooking recently. Is Baker really that good? So Baker Mayfield is currently on track to have his best season ever. He currently has a career high in yards per game when he plays the full season. He's going to have a career high in touchdowns at this rate. If he doesn't throw another pick, he'll match his career low in picks when he plays the full season. So Baker's balling, objectively, just balling, playing his ass off. But if we really look at the past 2 years of Baker's career, he never really got worse. It was just really shitty circumstances. Follow me. His last season with the Browns 2 years ago, he had a complete labrum tear in his left shoulder, the non-throwing shoulder. Kind of hard to be Baker Mayfield if you only got one arm. Plays through the whole season anyways. Ends up not getting paid by the Browns. The Browns trade for Deshaun Cosby in the offseason. Baker gets shipped out to Carolina. Everyone's down on Baker now. Ooh, what's wrong with Baker? Okay, Baker goes to Carolina. It looks decent at first. Signs of life. And then no. Ends up getting cut from Carolina. However, Now that we've seen Bryce Young and how this season went, we all know Carolina's a dysfunctional franchise. Not much has changed in a year. In that time, they had a worse coach in Matt Rule than what Frank Reich is. How much of that can we put on Baker? How much can we not? I'll let you decide that one. Goes to the Rams, somehow wins a game with the Rams on that Thursday night where he just hopped off the plane, went onto the field, won the game before he even checked into his hotel. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but y'all know the point. And then they just had too many injuries to overcome for the rest of the season. And now we're here with the Buccaneers, fully healthy. The best supporting cast he's had around him since that year he took the Browns to the playoffs and won their first playoff game in decades. And this is the results we're getting. Baker has been given another opportunity that most retread quarterbacks never get, even if they were the number 1 overall pick in their draft. Going into the season, I may have said verbatim in my season preview, if Baker does not ball with this team or gets benched for Kyle Trask, he will be breaking down games for college football on someone's network next year because it's over for him after this. If you can't ball with this team, it's done for you. He has exceeded everyone's expectations. Granted, it's not like they're 13-0 or some crazy shit, but they're going to win this division. They look like the best team in this division. If I'm the Buccaneers, me personally, I'm signing Baker to a nice 3-year deal, nice little team-friendly deal, so you don't got to do no more team hopping for the next couple years. Draft a quarterback later in the draft, since you're not going to suck enough to get a Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden McDaniels, or even for the next year of Shedeur Sanders or whatever. Whoever's there in the mid-20s, wherever you end up picking, get one of them and have him sit behind Baker for a while. Say what you want. This isn't college Baker anymore that's grabbing his nuts and slamming the flag. He's a professional now. This is a grown man. He's damn near 30. And I think he'd be more than willing to take the mentor role for a couple years now. Just me personally. I like what I'm seeing from Baker. I like stories like this. What do I say? I'm a sucker for a comeback story. Thanks for the question.